But I do want to talk to you about the tithe. I want to talk to you about the tithe because even though I know lots of you probably know a bit how compound interest works and how to work on your own retirement fund, even when you're younger, they tell you, what's the magic principle? Compound interest, and you should start early, right? Because this is how we build a way to be secure in our older times. Just like our gospel this morning talked about the practicalities of life for people living at the time of Jesus, the gospel is not just a great way to think about things esoterically. It's practical and good news for our everyday living. And as human beings who live in a real world with real things, God's concerned and cares about the real substance of our lives. As Anglicans, as Episcopalians, we believe that we are fed and nourished deeply by the things of communion, real bread and real wine. I know the bread piece can be a little off when we get those little wafers and we think, is that really bread? But you get the picture. God comes to us in our real lives, in a real way. In the same way, God is longing for us to get closer to God in our everyday life. And the opportunity to think about our giving not just as one more thing that happens at the end of the month or whatever I have, I'll just put into the plate or quickly do the QR code, but to be intentional about that represents a shift in our own understanding of what's happening between us and God. When things are good, I'll speak for myself. When things are good for me, I have to be intentional about remembering God because I'm very busy in my life, having a good time, doing the things that I would like to do. And God is not a God of shaming and a God of punishing in that way. So God allows me to do what I'm doing and be very busy, and maybe God is featuring on a small sort of page at the bottom of my book. But there is another way that I have been invited and you are being invited to live, in which in season and out of season, the one that gives us all of this wants to be included. The reason we got up this morning, as they say in my church, we woke you up this morning, he started you on your way, your feet were able to get you here, or some wheels. That God is saying, can I be a part of your life in a different kind of way? And we're invited to be a little honest with ourselves about maybe where we really are with this by taking a look at the chart and just asking ourselves, like, really kind of where am I really being, I'm truthful with myself. This is a personal and spiritual exercise between you and God, or if you're married or partnered, you and the people in your family. But to really get honest with ourselves about where we are with this, not in a shaming way, but to say that God's inviting us into a deeper level of connection. I don't know about you, but when I look at my paycheck and my money's going away to my retirement account, I'm like, bye retirement money, I miss you, but I also think about my retirement because it's sitting there in my account, or not sitting there, be that as it may. I think and I laugh, but it's funny, but it's also true. One of my cousins would say to his children, let us go visit our villa, that church where my tithes are. So we're not gonna miss, because that's where the additional money goes from our family. I have never met anyone who was not able to live after prayerfully considering what they might give and being guided by the Lord on that. But I can say that each of us has a discernment to make about not just what happened last time or what other people are doing, but what is God saying to you? How is God inviting you to consider your gift prayerfully? And I want to encourage you to think about this in a percentage manner, because the other way is like the tip that you write at the end of things. And percentage means that I'm thinking about all that comes in and out of my life, and I'm asking, God, if I won the lottery, would I give you part of it or not? God, if things get tight, I understand that it'll have to get a little smaller. But I'm walking with you in this. Your church has a real opportunity at this moment to show up and really be Jesus for people. And that's showing up with lay and ordained folks who are able to reach out to people, keep the church warm so when people are cold and discouraged, they come here and they can pray. And that's all possible because you make that possible through your prayerful response to God's nudging. So I'm saying to you, if God's nudging you and saying, you can do something different this year, I want you to believe that that's true, because God is not like people. God doesn't lie. And also, if you're a bit scared and that sounds a bit overwhelming, you can start small. So I'm going to close with some words from your captain here at Incarnation. And I want you to invite you to consider what kind of preaching might have gone on at Grace Church that allowed people to be this generous and create this chapel that is now this church. Because it's always been hard to give. I know there's that fantasy we have that there was some other time and where this was easier. It's always been hard. But your rector, Adrienne, says, there is a scientific principle. This is in her book, Ask Me for a Blessing. You know you need one. There's a scientific principle that changing one thing, and I'm offering right now to say, changing how you think about your gift. I'm not even talking about changing the gift. Changing how you think about that gift can change everything. Tiny changes in big systems can have complex results. Our primary place of agency is ourselves. So we can apply that sense of the butterfly effect to our own lives. And then she goes on to say that this is the place where the miracles of grace happen. And I want you to wonder what miracles could be possible. Tangible, real engagement with people, not hypotheticals. The same kind of tangible, real things that have happened in your own life that made you show up today. If we respond to the generous call of God to rethink how we give and who we are in this community. And if you're in a place in your life where that's not something you can do, there is no shame in that. We still get to consider how we want to give. We still get to give of who we are to this place. And I'm grateful that you're here. And I'm grateful that you're willing to even consider what I'm sharing with you. And I say this from experience, not because I'm a priest, not because I'm here and I'm friends with Adrienne, but I can tell you that giving in that way is transformative. It is transformative because it's really about us and God. Who are you to me, God? And how do I relate to you? The door is open. The world is waiting, and you are ready. Let us go out of this place, rejoicing and knowing that our souls will tell out the goodness of the Lord by word, by deed, by generosity, and most of all, by love made visible. God bless you and God keep you. And thank you so much for saying yes.